The federal government rolls back guidelines on coverage of contraception. Why this has some Northwestern students worried.
One of history's longest ruling monarchs passes away.
And Northwestern plays a hand in a groundbreaking discovery in outer space. All that and more coming up on the Northwestern News Report.
It's your news right now. Good evening and welcome to the Northwestern News Report. I'm Anika Henniger.
And I'm Matt Dunn. Thanks for joining us.
President Trump announced a rollback of an Obama-era birth control mandate earlier this month. The mandate required most health insurance plans to cover all FDA-approved forms of contraception. And for some Northwestern students, the controversial decision hits especially close to home.
Northwestern women rely on university-sponsored health care for contraception, but the president's latest action puts their access to that at risk. Under the Trump administration's new guidelines, healthcare providers like NU can now opt out of covering contraception. Weinberg first-year Mara Kelly worries that the move will reduce women's access to birth control.
For me, reproductive rights means that every woman is able to access whatever reproductive health care she needs without regards to her financial status, and to ensure that there are no unnecessary barriers put in the way of women receiving the health care that's necessary for them.
Another Weinberg first-year Julia Tarnow fears that the new guidelines will also limit women's choices.
It's really just a freedom to be able to choose what you want to do with your body, to have the choice that, maybe you want to be sexually active but you don't want to have a kid. And it really definitely makes it so that you're in control of your own body, you're in control of producing another human being.
The university has not yet announced any changes to its healthcare plans under the new guidelines. NU's Sexual Health and Assault Peer Educators, or SHAPE, released a statement on the president's action. We stand firmly against any rollback by the Trump administration on the birth control mandate and will ensure that SHAPE advocates for the rights and agency of Northwestern students. Marie Mendoza, Northwestern News Report.
In the coming months, SHAPE and other student groups on campus hope to connect students with other sexual health providers.
The United Nations calls it a textbook case of ethnic cleansing. But for members of Chicago's Rohingya refugee community, it's a tragedy on a more personal level. The Rohingya, a Muslim ethnic minority in Myanmar, have been discriminated against for decades. Recently, however, observers claim Myanmar's military has used any means necessary to purge the Rohingya from the country. NNN's Eric Miller joins us with more now on this issue. Eric, what is Chicago's Rohingya community saying, and what are they doing to help those back at home?
Well, Matt, the short answer is they're doing what they can. The Rohingya community in Chicago is small. It's only about 1,500 residents, all of whom are new arrivals to the U.S. They don't have much, but many try to send money back home, even as they struggle to survive in Chicago. A big part of what's helping them survive here is the Rohingya Cultural Center in Rogers Park. The center, which has been open for a little over a year, takes donations of clothing and runs English language programming for the refugees. The RCC also serves as a meeting point for the community and a place where they can share news from back home. Nasir Zakaria, the director of the center, says that community members often come to him with stories of family and friends killed or displaced by Myanmar's military.
People call me, cry always. They say, in jungle, many people they're killing. Kids, women, older people. So we don't have any power to fight back to government, stop genocide, stop killing people.
Nasir went on to add that everyone's voice can help stop genocide. In the interim, students looking to lend a hand can volunteer at the Rohingya Cultural Center. Details can be found on its website.
Well, thank you very much, Eric.
One of history's longest ruling monarchs passed away last year. NNN's senior foreign correspondent, Michelle Beck, joins us now hours before a new wave of history approaches.
Hey, good morning from Thailand, a nation still in mourning from the loss of its beloved king last October. As the final act of his commemoration begins tonight, The people here are preparing their goodbyes, once and for all.
Yellow, the color most Thais associate with their monarch of 70 years, King Bhumibol. But ever since his death a year ago, black has been their color of choice. For government officials, dressing to express grief for the late king has also been a requirement.
The government sent out letters to all the departments throughout the country saying that the staff must wear black for 1 year.
The internet following along by turning grayscale, the government recommending TV programs desaturate. These marigolds from above spell out the number 9 in Thai, representing Bhumibol's royal title, Rama IX. They're on display at Khon Kaen University, the first and largest university in the Northeast, also an official establishment of the late king. During King Bhumibol's reign, Thailand experienced rapid economic growth, reducing poverty in rural parts of the country, like this village of Tung Lui Lai.
I want to say that King Rama IX is a really good person. He helps the poor, he helps people.
Shopkeeper Pradit Thangpom, who taps rubber for extra income, has portraits of the king lining his store.
Sometimes when I was tapping rubber, I felt really tired. And I thought of the image of him working, and it gave me strength to carry on with my work.
A father figure now missing from the picture, leaving his country to wonder when and how it'll return to normal.
Crowds of hundreds of thousands are expected to head to Bangkok to observe the cremation. Transit authorities are responding by adding more services and offering some for free to and around the capital city. The government is making its last-minute preparations by tightening security, especially after radical red-shirt activists threatened to disrupt the ceremony. Though media coverage is banned from the event, we'll be on Twitter with live updates, so stay with us. Back to you.
Thanks, Michelle. Follow us at NNN_news to hear more about the royal funeral.
After a rainy week in Evanston, can we finally put our umbrellas down? I'm Alexa McHale, and coming up, I'll have your 5-day weather forecast.
At Northwestern, we're wildcats in every way.
Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
I'm Alexa McHale. Let's check out our 5-day weather forecast. Keep your rain jackets handy, as tonight there is still a 20% chance of rain with a low of 36 degrees. The rain should finally settle down by Wednesday with cloudy skies and a high of 51 degrees and a low of 40 degrees. The sun will likely peek out of the clouds on Thursday with a high of 56 degrees and a low of 45 degrees. On Friday, we are seeing mostly cloudy skies, but the night brings a 40% chance of rain with a low of 36 degrees. As the Wildcats take on the Michigan State Spartans this Saturday, make sure to take your purple jacket to Ryan Field, as we are seeing partly cloudy skies with a low of 32 degrees. Finally, Sunday keeps the pattern going with cloudy skies and a low of 37 degrees and a high of 47 degrees. I'm Alexa McHale, and this has been your 5-day weather forecast. Now, back to the desk.
Thanks, Alexa. CrossFit, cycling, and boxing are all part of Evanston's growing exercise studios. One studio, 9 Round Boxing, is working to instill strength and confidence in all of its members. NNN's Maggie Fitzgerald has those details.
My name is Paul Otake, and I'm a trainer at 9 Round. I really like it. I boxed for 15 years. It gives you a sense of discipline, and it feels good to hit stuff.
Our youngest is 10. That's when we start training. Working professionals who come in at 5 a.m., all the way to families that come in after work and school and get their workout in together. Like impulse control and emotional regulation, we kind of work all of this within a boxing curriculum.
Take your time, slide over.
A lot of our members come here to get a really great workout, but a lot of them stick around because of how it affects their overall well-being. No kid's going to walk into a classroom that's called How to Be a Better Kid, but they might walk into a classroom called boxing, and along the way we might teach them how to be a little kinder and maybe a little bit more disciplined.
Right hand, turn your foot like that. My focus has always been on getting more girls to fight.
Like day one, it's shattering stereotypes. Even young women, like 8, 9 years old, they've already been taught that that's not really a sport that's meant for them. It just shows them, okay, this is a place for me. Maybe there are other places that I was told I wasn't supposed to be that maybe I can be.
Living in a patriarchal culture, I think it's a good skill for women to have, to be able to be strong, to be able to be aggressive and to defend themselves, because although things are changing, that women are still at times vulnerable to men. I would say to my own clients, especially those struggling with recovering from sexual harassment, sexual trauma, that would probably be a really empowering experience for them to go through.
There are 8 boxing gyms in Evanston with personal training as well as group classes.
A new student group, Cats with Confidence, is looking to promote body positivity and eating disorder awareness on Northwestern's campus. In the past few weeks, the club has had several events to increase awareness in the Northwestern community. Last Sunday, the group participated in the Nita Walk, raising an estimated $2,500. In the next coming weeks, the group will be bringing a speaker to campus, teaching an eating disorder awareness and body positivity seminar to PHA chapters. Courtney Lewis, the club's new president, thinks that the organization will help Northwestern students recognize eating disorders and increase focus on body positivity.
I feel like the Northwestern community can be very, very high stress, and it can be very like trying to push yourself as hard as you can to get to your goals, and I feel like we need to take some time to appreciate who we are as people, to appreciate our time and our other pursuits. So I want to kind of bring a space to campus where it's okay to love your body, it's okay to take care of your mental health.
Will become official later this year. They currently have a faculty advisor, members, and weekly meetings.
I'm Caitlin Boudreau, and coming up, I'll zoom in on an out-of-this-world discovery.
At Northwestern, we're wildcats in every way.
Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Northwestern faculty and students were involved in a groundbreaking discovery this summer, and they announced their findings last week. NNN's Caitlin Boudreau is in Studio B to zoom in on the first direct observation of two neutron stars colliding. So Caitlin, what are neutron stars and why is this discovery so significant?
Well, Matt, neutron stars are the unthinkably small and unimaginably dense remnants of supernova. A supernova happens when a star runs out of fuel and explodes. A neutron star is the leftover core of that star that didn't explode. So now imagine the sun condensed into a ball the size of Chicago, and imagine two of those colliding. When two things collide, they redirect energy from motion into heat, sound, and sometimes light, like when you high-five someone or strike a match. When two massive things collide, they explode and produce heavy elements like gold and platinum. That means that nice piece of jewelry you're wearing is literally made from star stuff. How do scientists know all of this? That's where gravitational waves come in. Gravitational waves are ripples in the fabric of space-time. These ripples cause all matter in the universe to contract and expand as they pass through, like how jello jiggles when you hit it. They were predicted by Albert Einstein more than 100 years ago in his theory of general relativity, but have long evaded astronomers. This explosion made those waves, which is how scientists first detected it. Scientists then verified the finding with electromagnetic telescopes. So basically, the explosion released so much energy that we couldn't see most of it because the light was too bright. Some telescopes picked up gamma radiation from the blast, others, like the LIGO, picked up the gravitational waves. That telescope is what's called an interferometer, a pair of high-precision lasers which detect the waves, noting when the lasers move from its original position. The biggest problem in astrophysics has long been our limited view of the universe. We can only see so far out into the universe, and our field of vision is always limited. Gravitational waves allow us to have an ultra-powerful eye in the sky facing all directions at all times, vastly increasing our ability to record cataclysmic events. The more we see, the more we understand, and the discovery of gravitational waves is one giant leap toward understanding our universe on a grander scale. And that's gravitational waves zoomed in. Matt?
Caitlin, fascinating stuff. And NNN's Xian Xin has the story of how Northwestern students and faculty were involved in this discovery.
Astronomers of the LIGO Scientific Collaboration have officially announced the discovery of gravitational waves caused by two neutron stars colliding.
If you're wearing a ring, if you're wearing something that is made of gold, that is where it was produced once upon a time.
This breakthrough marks the first time electromagnetic waves confirmed findings by gravitational waves. Northwestern professor Raffaella Margutti led research in the electromagnetic spectrum.
So until now, we could only use light, or as of 2 years ago, only gravitational waves. Right now, this is the first time that we can put together two tools. So we have two independent tools to probe the universe.
3 other Northwestern faculty members helped make the stellar discovery, including Professor Vicky Calogera.
We opened a new way of observing the universe. This is our first discovery. It's not our last discovery.
Michael Zevin was one of more than a dozen Northwestern students involved in the project.
This is the first time that we've actually seen a different form of objects in these gravitational waves. 2 objects that we call neutron stars that collided about 130 million light years away.
And the discovery is making waves.
Gravitational waves are giving us a whole new way to observe the universe, a new sense that we're adding to our arsenal.
These findings would not have been possible without Northwestern.
So what we ended up having at Northwestern is being the only university in the whole world that has not just legs in both sides of the discovery, gravitational waves and electromagnetic waves, but actually leadership.
Bringing together minds as bright as the stars. Xian Xin, Northwestern News Report.
An Evanston nonprofit has a new initiative that is making art accessible to all Evanstonians. NNN's Joey Safchik has the story.
I'm standing on the corner of Elmwood and Davis. Underneath what you can probably hear is a train station. I'm in front of one of 5 murals sponsored by the Evanston Mural Arts Program. They're a branch of local nonprofit Art Encounter, which is commissioning artists to transform ordinary concrete walls, like those under train stations, into seas of shape and color, right here in Evanston.
We've just been looking at these walls and wanting to bring more public art to Evanston.
Leah Pinsky and her husband Dustin Harris run the Evanston Mural Arts Program, a project launched earlier this year by family-run Art Encounter. Their mission? To liven up the city with bright street art.
It just seemed like the right time to make it happen.
The 5th mural commission this year opened last Wednesday. Chicago-based artist Ruben Aguirre transformed an L-train underpass wall that looked a lot like the one next to me into this. Aguirre spoke to me about the importance of accessible art, part of Art Encounter's mission.
I realized early on that not everybody gets to see art. There's a lot of kids who won't ever go to a museum, but if they can see something when they walk down the street, at least we're planting a seed there.
The project board celebrated the opening of this spray-painted work with an informal ribbon cutting. Pinsky and Harris hope this undertaking will continue Evanston's tradition of embracing artistic culture.
So this can hopefully help brighten up people's lives or help challenge people's ideas.
The project is continuing to expand with another mural already underway and plans for several more in 2018. And if you have an idea for a mural you'd like to see around Northwestern, Art Encounter wants to hear from you. You can email them your ideas at emap@artencounter.org. For Northwestern News Report, I'm Joey Safchik.
Coming up, the Cats score a last-minute win over Iowa.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
The Cats faced Iowa last week at Ryan Field in a nail-biter matchup that went into overtime. NNN's Olivia Reiner was there.
It's been 10 years since Northwestern had an overtime victory here at Ryan Field. A stellar Justin Jackson reception, not his typical running game, set the Cats up for a game-winning touchdown. Coach Pat Fitzgerald chalked it up to Justin being Justin.
He willed his way to get what he got done, and he had to make some great players miss. And to see the way that he did that was really just very Justin Jackson.
That was awesome. I saw two guys in the open field, and I'm like, oh, they got no chance. And so I knew at that point we were getting the first down. And then when he kept pushing forward, I was like, holy cow, we're going to score on third play of overtime. So awesome effort, great game by him.
In regulation, it was the defense that stood out. The Cats were able to contain Iowa's star running back Akram Wadley, who was held scoreless.
Iowa likes to run the ball. It's no secret. Everyone knows it. And we, at the beginning of the week, focused on being able to stop the run and setting the edge and making him cut it back up into the heart of our defense. And, we have backers like Nate and Patty and Brett who can make plays when we make it cut it back.
Yeah, I think they've been really solid for the last month. It starts up front, and I thought our defensive line, again, from the way that they're preparing, it's showing up on Saturday.
It's too early to be making bowl game projections, but Northwestern will have a good shot at one if they're able to finish the season strong. Next weekend, they'll face off against the Michigan State Spartans. For NNN Sports, I'm Olivia Reiner.
Just moments ago, this year's World Series kicked off.
But how did NU students feel about the Cubs' rough loss that kept them out of the series this year? We asked them for Rock Talk.
I'm Esther Wells, and I'm here at The Rock asking how you feel about the Cubs championship loss on Thursday. How do you feel about the Cubs' loss on Thursday?
Not great. I would prefer if they didn't lose by double digits or close to it, but the fact that they got back to got back in the pennant race is pretty good, and I'm pretty hopeful for their next year's chances. So all in all, not a bad season. I mean, you made it to the Final Four, so you really can't complain.
That is a big loss. I mean, we live in Illinois, so.
Disgraceful. It was a travesty. I've been a Cubs fan since I was a kid, and it was so hard to watch that game. It was, it's like when your childhood heroes just kind of like fail, and it's so sad.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Go Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Well, a taste of Germany came to downtown Evanston on Sunday, October 15th for the 3rd annual Evanston Oktoberfest. NNN's Nikki Griswold has more.
Evanston residents of all ages congregated in the parking lot behind the Hilton Garden Inn for the town's 3rd annual Oktoberfest. But just a few decades earlier, such an event wouldn't have been possible.
First of all, is because, Evanston has a rich history of being dry. No alcohol, no beer, no wine, no liquor. And obviously we've seen that change a lot in the last few years.
The liquor ban ended in 1972, and now local breweries like Sketchbook Brewing Company call Evanston home.
We have about 480 members of the community we call them members of the brewery.
The event hosted 15 breweries, 4 of them which were from Evanston, some cider companies, and local food trucks and restaurants for an afternoon of beer, food, music, and fun. While adults sipped on local brews, kids played games at an arts and crafts tent, and everyone was treated to the music of the 3 different live bands that played throughout the afternoon. The event is a fundraiser for downtown Evanston, which coordinates marketing, events, promotions, and maintenance in the downtown area.
A couple years ago, Cranes put out an article that said, when did Evanston get hip? And we're like, well, we've always been hip.
For the event sponsors, like First Bank and Trust, it's important to invest in a vibrant local community atmosphere.
First Bank and Trust is a community bank that was founded here in Evanston in '95, and the Evanston community is very important to our identity.
Nikki Griswold, Northwestern News Report.
Thank you, Nikki. Looks like fun. I'm Matt Stunn.
And I'm Anika Henniger. Thanks for joining us.